They come naturally, no need for steroids. There are two types of hormones, testosterone and estrogens. To start, testosterone are hormones found mostly in the male species and contribute to the physical growth of male sex organs, hair, which includes facial and genital, muscular development, deeper voice, larger ribcage, and broader shoulders. Estrogens are hormones found mostly in women that contribute to the production of sexual organs such as ovaries and breasts. Estrogens also decrease height growth, increase fat growth, and assist in the menstrual cycle. So what are steroids? Steroids are organic compounds that serve as substitutes for hormones. They provide the same functions as natural estrogen and testosterone provide for the body. However, injecting and adding more amounts of testosterone or estrogen into the human body causes an imbalance in the body.
The molecular structures between estrogen and testosterone are similar because they are naturally made steroids. Steroids are structured to have 4 rings, and the only difference between testosterone and estrogen is that testosterone has an oxygen double bond and estrogen has a single bonded hydroxide. This is through synthesis. Estrogen is a synthesized version of testosterone. Synthesis is where you take elements and combine them to make a whole. So because estrogen doesn't have a double bond, they take another hydrogen to add to the oxygen to make it a whole. These are the normal levels of testosterone and estrogen in the male species. As you can see, at a younger age, men tend to have a high level of testosterone and a low level of estrogen. As men age, testosterone levels decrease and estrogen levels increase. This does not mean that they become more feminine, because as you can see, at a younger age, the gap between the amount of testosterone and estrogen found in the male species is really big. And then as they get older, the gap becomes really small, going from a more energized state to a more neutral state. Balancing. The way testosterone and estrogen balance themselves in the human body is through aromatase, which is the conversion of testosterone to estrogen. The reason this can happen is because of the huge similarity in their molecular structures. The abnormal way of converting testosterone to estrogen is through isolationism and radioactivity, where scientists isolate one of the oxygen double bonds and through radioactivity add in a hydrogen. After doing so, they insert the newly made estrogen into the human body. This is an unnatural way of adding steroids in the human body and can harm someone's health.
Hormones are lipid soluble. That allows them to go through the cell instead of having to travel on the surface. Then they go to the nucleus to the gene transcription. The gene transcription determines what kind of proteins are being produced. Different steroid hormones cause cells to produce different proteins, which result in cell response. The steroids will most likely only harm the body instead of benefiting it. The steroids have to travel through the blood, meaning that when they go through the liver, it has to work a lot harder to break down the structure of the synthetic hormone. This causes the liver to get damaged. The picture to your right compares the healthy liver to the damaged one, which is a result of the use of steroids. The picture to your left shows the causes of blood poisoning, which is pretty nasty. The picture in the middle gives some other disorders and harms to your body, such as heart disease, depression, and aggression. Because your body already provides testosterone, only adding more will increase the aggression, which could result in a disorder.
This diagram represents the damages steroids can cause to your brain, skin, and internal organs. As you can see, in the mind, it can make men bald And it can also, like what Julia said, with the increase of testosterone, can also increase aggression and anger. It can also decrease a woman's breast size and cause heart disease in both male and female. It will also, the good thing about testosterone is it can give you muscular growth, but too much muscular growth is bad for you. Because as you can see, that is what's going to cause the heart disease, and that's what can cause the damaged kidneys and liver. It'll also enlarge a woman's vocal cords, which would then enhance her voice and make it deeper. Taking steroids can also affect the reproductive system, such as because in a woman, if she takes steroids, this can make her infertile, make her menstrual cycles all messed up, and really mess with everything down there. And it can also mess with men, and also because it can just decrease their sperm count.
Athletic purposes. Athletes who do powerlifting are determined to get stronger and more muscular. In their opinion, the steroids will provide them with more opportunities. However, in many cases, the steroids cause an imbalance in the body, resulting in muscle loss and other consequences. For athletes that do decide to take steroids on a regular basis, 80% of them show some form of biochemical abnormalities of the liver during medical testing. These graphs show the statistics of steroid use for athletic purposes. The bar graph on the left shows the tests that have been taken over 8th graders, 10th graders, and 12th graders over the years of 1999 to 2000. As you can see, the use of steroids has increased over the years because of the competitiveness. The picture to your right is a pie graph showing the percentages of harmness that the steroids showed. For example, 75% of males and 56% of females reported injuries and poisonings. These parts of the pie graph show cancer percentages, circulatory diseases, nervous system diseases, and other harmness to the body.
These are the medical purpose of steroids. People think they can use steroids to fix things, but it really doesn't do any good. For instance, people take birth control, which can reduce the risk of getting pregnant. However, it does affect the hormonal balance within women. For instance, it messes with their brain. One day they'll be fine, one day they'll be super angry, and this is all by the use of steroids. Steroids can also cause inflammatory conditions such as arthritis.
It is true that there are situations in which some of those steroids are needed and should be used if the doctor prescribes them. In some cases, the human body does not have the ability to produce the hormones that are needed to balance. Therefore, to help the body out, a small amount of steroids are needed to reestablish the health within the body. Let's review. Testosterone is found mostly in men. Estrogen is found mostly in women. The differences in their molecular structures are testosterone has a double oxygen bond, while estrogen has a single hydroxide bond. Testosterone and estrogen balance through aromatase through conversion. Steroid cause health problems in internal organs, damaged brain and mental disorders, hormonal imbalance. Therefore, steroids are detrimental.